Now, the South African Human Rights Commission is planning legal action against 5 provincial education departments. It's over pit toilets at schools in the province being called to court. Mpumalanga, Northwest, Free State and KwaZulu-Natal, this including the Eastern Cape. Over 3,000 schools across the country have poor sanitation. Let's get more on this from the SA Human Rights Commission Commissioner. That is Mr. Andre Gaum. Andre, thank you for your time and good morning to you. I mean, I think the country at this point does have to lament and say we have read so many stories, tragic some, about the poor sanitation and lack of good sanitation in schools. Even some children drowning in this pit latrines. But you are taking it a step further. You're taking legal action.
Yes, indeed. We have written to the MECs, all the provincial MECs, in May already, on the 14th of May. Requesting detailed information on the types of water and sanitation in each and every school in their provinces. And we've received that information, and it does appear that there are still many schools without proper water and sanitation, and specifically with pit latrines. And therefore, we have put these provinces on terms, those with the pit latrines, to indicate to us their plans as well as their timeframes for eradicating pit latrines and putting in place proper sanitation.
Yep.
The feedback that we got in that regard wasn't what we expected. It wasn't proper feedback, and it is in view thereof that we will now apply to the courts for structural interdicts similar to the one that the Limpopo High Court has offered in the Michael Kumape matter, where Section 27 was involved.
Andrew, I mentioned earlier on that, I mean, there were some children who died. Perhaps give us some, data that you have of, the number of children who died in which provinces. Unfortunately, they had to, or rather they died under these circumstances where there was poor sanitation. Because this, according to your Deputy Chairperson, Fatima Chauhan, is, I suppose, your biggest case so far as a commission against government.
It is indeed the largest case ever against government that the Commission has instituted. Yes, of course, there was the tragic death on the 20th of January 2014 of Michael Kumape that all of us did not only take note of, but, were really very aggrieved about. Then there was 7-year-old Lister Magongwa, who died in 2013 after the walls of a toilet collapsed on him at the Mushi Primary School, which is also located in Limpopo province. In 2017 and 2018, another 2 lives were lost to unsafe sanitation when Siam Tandwa Mtunu and Lumka Kweta, both from the Eastern Cape province, fell into and drowned in pit latrines. So there have been too many of these cases. One death is of course one death too many.
It is.
But there's been quite a number of these tragic incidents. And therefore, the Commission is really saying in this regard that the dire threat faced by children on a daily basis calls for urgent and decisive action.
Yeah.
The threat to life and the daily assault on the dignity of children requires that the matter be approached in a strategic manner designed to achieve the desired outcome of safe schools where human rights are respected and the best interests of children is the yardstick.
And as you mentioned these names and mentioned these cases, Andre, I just wonder if there are many other unreported cases similar to this, to what Lister Magongwa had to go through, Michael Kumape, as well as Siam Tandamduna, unfortunately had, to endure under these pit latrines. But when you did receive your response from the MECs of each of these departments in all the provinces, I mean, what was their response? Why are they still, having these pit latrines in schools? Why have they not resolved the issue? And how many more of these pit latrines per province did you manage to gather from your data, at least according to their response?
Yes, well, we had a detailed response to our request to give us a list of all the schools in the provinces, and then the status of water and sanitation in each and every school with the different categories, one being pit latrines. So we have quite a lot of detail in terms of that. We know exactly what the position is in every school according to their own versions. So it is on the basis of that that we want specific plans, specific timeframes, and even plans to cover up and safeguard these unsafe structures as well.
So with that being said, then, I suppose my question to you is, what relief are you hoping and aiming to get as a commission from this litigation?
Yes, in the first instance, we want an order that each of the provincial departments that have identified schools which have either only latrines or no available sanitation technology, that they provide the court and the commission with costed work plans with targets in relation to each school that includes details of the nature and extent of the installations and upgrades required for each school and timelines for completion of the identified targets. And the timelines should take into account the urgent need to provide access to water and adequate sanitation to all schools, and where necessary, a need to put in place temporary measures until the permanent installations are completed. That would be the crux of what we would ask from the board.
Well, Andrew Gaum, I appreciate your time this morning and speaking to us about this very important matter. SA Human Rights Commission Commissioner Andrew Gaum this morning, right here on the South African Morning.